Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good time of day, whatever it may be for you. Welcome back to the LAMDA log. I am behind. Um, as you noticed, I did if you're keeping up, I did all of my first week videos in one because it was a bunch of individual time. And then I'm another week behind. I'm not going to do it all as one, but we're going to bang through some videos this week. Today is a lovely 17th of May, Sunday. And so I got a bit to do. But shout out Sandridge. Getting into it. Let me begin. So for this day, Monday, the 11th of May, week 2, day 1. So I got up early to film my self-tape that was due on Monday. It was due at noon. And I was planning on going to the town hall, but I needed time to prep my accent work. So I didn't actually get to it. And I've yet to check in with what it was about. We secured a new building, the one that they were talking about last term. We've signed like a 10-year lease on it. So that's great. We have a new rehearsal space that I've now used. And it's cool. It's a great little space. But so first off was with accents with Jess. And what we were asked to do was to prepare, to come in with a couple of accents that we're interested in, and then we're going to do some stuff with her, and then some stuff with our own accent that we chose. So I chose, I wrote 3. I have a Dublin accent, and I found, I'm going to say the names wrong. Fionn, Fionn, O'Shea. See, this is the disadvantage of doing it so long. You also notice I'm a little scruffy. I might be growing it out for one of my projects. Started out as laziness and then turned into like, maybe that would work. So got this nasty little mustache going on. We'll see if it sticks. Yeah, and I also looked at Barry Keoghan. And then I also looked at like a Glaswegian accent. I was looking at James McAvoy, Seamus McLean Ross, and Robert Carlyle or Rupert Carlyle. No, it's Robert. And then I also wanted to maybe look at a royal like RP kind of period accent, but I didn't know like what to look at. I also thought Cornish and Cockney because I like accents a lot. So I was looking at lots of different things. So when we actually got into class, Jess first of all broke down what we're doing. So the first week, we're going to focus on London accents. The second week, we're going to focus on Celtic accents. The third week, we're going to look at American Southern accents. Fourth week is either going to be another language accent or an East Coast accent. And that's it. We just have 4 weeks of this class. So the first week is going to be focused on the people. The second week on the prosody. And the third week, pronunciation. And fourth week is application to a text. So we got into pairs to discuss our experience and knowledge about London accents. And we started talking about things in common, our sound treatments, like the T. Then there's like a TH sound with London accents that seems that gets affected a lot. It's a very multicultural city, so it has a lot of influences. There's a fairly open posture. There's a history of trading and markets and lots of commerce, so that might lead to and increase the reason why it's open and audible in that sense. There's history. Oh, the historical heart of London is actually east further. It's like the London Bridge area, which is interesting to know. There's an efficiency in the language. Class plays a huge role in accents. Then there's kind of prosody differences. And then we named the UK accents we know. There's MLE, which stands for Multicultural London English. This usually comes with people of color who have come from African countries and Middle Eastern areas. And so that's all that kind of has this certain similarities in the sound. Then there's Cockney, which is a classic East London accent. There's Estuary, which is like around the Thames, which the shorthand is EE, Estuary English. There's SSB or SSE, depending on if you say Standard Southern British or Standard Southern English. RP, received pronunciation, and then like there's non-London accents such as like Essex and Kent that can be influenced by or influence others. And so in looking at these accents, she drew this little chart with us. So MLE kind of overlaps with Estuary and Cockney overlaps with Estuary, and SSB overlaps with like RP, Estuary, and Cockney, and RP overlaps with SSB and Estuary, but not Cockney. And so there's kind of these levels of it, like depending on how much you lean into a certain accent can affect it. But we listened to an example of Southern British accent. It was one of Jess's friends who is fairly RP. It's a modern RP, right? So it's not like, oh, I'm an antiquated RP, right? It's just RP, right? It's just a very normal and common way you might hear someone from England speak, from the UK. There's clearer consonants, lengthened vowels, distinct EU sound, oral resonance, and an airiness or a compression in some parts. Then we listened to another example that was more SSB, less RP, which was Maddie Class, potentially, but dropped and glottalized almost all the T's. There's a bounciness of the vowels. Then we listened to another example that was more Estuary, and the TH got much more with, like with it, with it, splashier T's, joined together more, like the words linked together a little more. It was a little more connected and fluid. TH fronting, I believe, is where you get such sounds as like, I think that's like the with, or thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Or that doesn't matter. Whatever, right? And then ing was an N, and the L's kind of get that W sound to it, like oh. Yeah, pass the ball. The ball. Not the ball, but the ball. The ball. I'm not very good. Then we listened to an example of an East London accent. This was someone who was Black and British from a Nigerian background, and their TH turned into a lot of D's. They said bruh a lot. Glottal T's, TH was more the F, so north. The W sound, the price vowel was really different, heavier N's and M's. Yeah, punchy consonants. Then we listened to Kathy Burke, who's Cockney. Saturdays, you eldest, eldest. So being eldest. Saturdays, diphthong in to and now. Dancing, night, dad. I mostly just wrote words. Drop the H's. Giggle. Gave her a giggle. Next, we listened to an individual. We had individual time to listen to someone on her list. And I looked at someone who had an estuary accent named Andrew Koji. So we listened to multiple people you want to listen to multiple people when you're learning an accent so that you're not doing an imitation but copying the patterns. Thinking about sounds can help with posture. Like the thinking sounds help with posture. Do they say eh, right? What is their thinking sound? That kind of filler word. Common London sounds, there's that non-rhotic R's, the strut vowel, the bath vowel. We had a little 5-minute break, and then we looked at accent notes file on Canvas, and we had some like good questions to ask ourselves when learning this. And script questions are great, but if you have no script, then base them on a character that you could play. And then these questions help you to be more strategic in your approach than just generally learning an accent. Changing placement, manner of release, and then voiced and unvoiced. This is a good way to kind of figure out those sounds. And then prosody is pitch, rhythm, and stress, right? So, but we're focusing on people this week. So first you want to write down, when I listened to my accent when I was working on the Dublin with Fionn O'Shea, I think it's O'Shea. Fionn. We first just wrote down our first impressions, and then don't look at them, don't listen, understand, just listen to the sounds. And I listened to 1 minute and then I repeated it. My first impressions were M was his thinking sound, performing, the R is very distinct. It's kind of got soft V's, love. It's got a little more air in it. Ev, and M, that, the T, the about, I'm not really good at it yet. The about vowel, I don't know which one that one is. It's the mouth vowel. The about sound in the mouth vowel is the most distinct in a Dublin. But, gets airy. Set, the E was a little elongated, that vowel. There's glottal and drop T's on not sometimes, and 11 was elongated as well. And then we listened to the same 1 minute without notes, walking around, and then we wrote our thoughts afterwards. And what really stuck out to me was just that the about sound is really distinct, and it's not quite Scottish. It's not about. I'd have to re-listen to it. This was a week ago. And that's where I want to take it to Scotland. There's a nasality about it as well. And then we all shared things that we learned and picked up on our first. We did those like one by one. And then we categorized our feelings under the sections. And first we just find what's interesting, right? I found the posture and a lot of pronunciation. Pronunciation seems to be my way in. And spelling is not sound in English, right? Like in English, we don't spell things the way they sound. Different words have different pronunciations. The same word can have different pronunciations. Our homework is to investigate the people of your chosen accent and answer the research questions. Find more examples. How do they fit your profile as an actor? And would you play that person? Do they fit your profile, right? Then we had lunch. And then we had clown, which was great with Heriberto. We walked the space a little bit. We brought our clown costumes. I'll take a picture or something and add it once. It's in my little bag over there. My little Guatemala bag. My clown costume's in there. It's just a bunch of random layers. I'll explain in a minute. But then we started walking with a partner. We made contact with just fingers first, kind of like ET, and then we went by elbows, and then we did backs, and then we did our hands like this while we were walking. And then we did our bums. We stuck our bums out. And then he said, come up with an impossible connection. And then she jumped. I gave her a piggyback ride, and we were like running around. We're like, ah! And then and then like an alien. And then she was like on all fours, and I held her hips, and I was like, ah, trying to be some alien creature. And then we gave some back rubs. Delightful. Always enjoy the back rubs. And then we put on our clown clothes, and we took like 7-ish minutes to do that. We looked at each other in the circle, and we got shoulder to shoulder. And my clown costume is I just have like a white tank top with an open up, um, mainly black Hawaiian shirt that's oversized, tucked in the front and buttoned at like just the bottom. I have 3 ties on, like long ties, and then I took the backs and I braided them in the middle, and then I have a bow tie on the side here as well. Um, and then I have like really short, like bathing suit shorts, like a 2-3 inch inseam that are kind of baby blue, and then I have one black sock with another colored sock over it, and then a green avocado sock, and then my slides. And I think that was it. Oh, I also had a hat that was upside down. I put my beanie on it too, and then covered one eye with the beanie on top of my inside out hat. But when we were kind of checking all of our outfits, he adjusted some, and I helped other people with some of theirs and things, and I I ditched the beanie. But it's so fun to see what everyone did. And then as we're all kind of looking at each other, we went around and we asked people for a kiss, and we said, so and so, may I please have a kiss? And they could say yes, blow you a kiss, or they could say no, and you say thank you. Then you ask someone else, and then you asked for a raspberry. Like I probably just spat all over my screen. And for the raspberry, everyone had gone around. And he's like, "Did we all go?" I was like, "I didn't," because I was last. Because people didn't ask me for a raspberry or whatever the order was. And so I got to ask the whole group for a raspberry. And then we went one by one, and Eddie asked us questions. So first, what's your name? What's your full name? And then it depended. It was like, where are you from? Well, where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? Where's that? And it got into the universe. And then where's that? It's like within the imagination or wherever. And then favorite color was sometimes asked, favorite food, favorite car, favorite song. My questions were my name, my full name, Zion Jonathan Austin. Where was I from? I was like, I was born in New York City. I moved to Lexington. I was born in New York City. I moved to Lexington, Virginia, then to Lexington, Kentucky, then Ashland, Massachusetts, then Snellville, Georgia, then to Guatemala City, and then back to Georgia, and then to Rexburg, Idaho, then back to Georgia, then back to Rexburg, and then to Utah. And then he was like, say that again. And then I started to. He's like, that was a joke. Don't be smart. He asked me my favorite smell. I said petrichor, which is the smell of right after it rains. And then we made our pledge that I am very, very, very stupid. And then we got into a semicircle, and then one at a time, as our clown, we tried to find the game with the audience. One student went first, and she was the only one who ended up. And she sang a song, and there were no words. And we also, he handed out and gave us noses. So it's a little string nose. And when you have the nose on, Ari's talking to the clown. And then you take it off, and it's you, the actor, the performer. And so he wanted to distinguish that he might be mean to the clown, but that's to the clown, right? And when you don't know what to do, that is a great place to be. Share all of that with the audience, right? You don't need to hide anything. It's just being there and open and with the audience. Enjoy and acknowledge in the mistakes. Oh, enjoy and indulge in the mistakes. Bring focus to them. Make a bit out of everything. Don't solve your problems too quickly. Don't rush. And then we had our French scenes, and we got to work with Marianne some more, and we did a warm up following as a group, as if we were fish, a school of fish, and so whoever was in the lead would start like doing something to music, and then they would slowly move, and then once the school or group reoriented, whoever's in the front, they became the leader, and so on and so forth, and then you kind of cycled through, so most people got the option to be the leader. And then while dancing, we were dancing to period specific music by French composers. And then we broke into our groups to decide what version and what cut we wanted to use. My two group mates and I are doing The Hypochondriac by Moliere, sometimes called The Imaginary Invalid. And Moliere, and we did our thing. And we liked the original one. We took so long looking for a copy, and we realized that we liked the one that they read originally, but it wasn't the exact same as the other ones, and it was this whole thing. We eventually just like took a picture of the one she had, and so then we spent our whole time working on that. We didn't really have anything, so when we all at the end presented them, and we're like, "This is what we got." Ours ran for 7 minutes and 37 seconds, and we have about like 8 minutes since we're a trio, and so we have a lot of time for kind of like physicality and to kind of flesh that out. And that was like our first day back in skills. It was a great day. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Hope you guys did too, learning about it. And yeah, I'll give you one after the other after the other. Bye bye.